Hi guys, it's Shade here. How's it going? Welcome back to Fanservice Friday. Today we're going to be continuing with Time Tenshi. Last time we had a little bit of an incident with the time window and Tenshi got thrown through time. Well, lucky for him, he wasn't injured. Although Kyo had a dramatic episode, she worries for him. That's good. Also got a little small bit into a window of the Chrome text plan, something about Project Paradox. I don't know what it is. Maybe we'll learn more about it today. So let's continue. I woke to the smell of something sweet, wafting into my nose. Ugh. Oh, Kenshi. Oh, my head's. Ugh, I'm still getting used to this bed. I stood stretching my back when, not long after, a knocking was heard from my door. Come in? The door swung open, revealing Rose, smiling happily. "Oh there, sleepyhead. Ready for breakfast? I could use a hand in the kitchen." "Of course. So what's on the menu this morning, Rose?" "Well, I was thinking either Belgian waffles or scones, but if you manage to get old-fashioned, I could whip you up a stack of flapjacks as well." "Pancakes?" "Yes, Kenshi, pancakes." Well, that should have been kind of on the nose, Kenji. Flapjacks are pancakes, so. Right, duh. Come on, I could use another hand. I was making some for Michelle since she hasn't left alive since earlier this morning. What has she been up to? Oh, the same old, making sure everything is up and running at top-notch speed. She keeps this operation running sometimes, I swear. Now then, having those eggs over there. Right, gotcha. For a while, we just exchanged small talk back and forth, cooking this with smiles on our faces as I slowly woke up. I could tell there was a look of worry on Rose's face, however. "Rose, is everything alright?" "Huh? Oh, everything is just fine, Kenji. Don't worry. I was just ruminating over some things, such as..." "Oh, Kenji, you don't need to worry. There's such trivial matters. Rose, look. I'm here for everyone in this lab, alright? I don't want you worrying about me." "Oh, it's not about that, silly. I know you're fine. You're waking up, walking, and talking just fine." "Oh, and what's up?" I think I need to do some recalculations with the time window. Hang on one second, guys. Okay. How so? My brassiere has been a bit tight lately. I think my bosom has grown a tad bit within the past week. Her face went deep pink, went a deep pink hue, and I could tell by the heat in my own that it was doing the same. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said anything. It's just, sometimes I worry that the time window's effects are more long-term than short-term, and that all these trips are slowly adding up for the future. Have you discussed this with the other girls? With my grandpa? No. After all, this could be all be natural anyway. I could still be developing on my own. Still? My outburst seemed to put her off, embarrassing her further and making her look off to the side. I tried to recover quickly. Try to keep yourself contained, Kenji. You're making her blush. Besides, I'm pretty sure no girl wants to talk about that in public. Especially with Kyo going all grabby with everyone else's breasts. Not that there's any problem with that. I should shut up before I get myself hurt again. I mean, they're already. I know, Kenshi. They're massive, and when I go through the time window, they just get. She put her hands to them, lifting each one alternatively to emphasize her awareness of the size. I don't know if I could handle such a giant size permanently. I mean, you deal with them well with the time window. Yes, but that's because I've only had them for a short while. Even in a small time, though, my back aches and shoulders strain. I don't want to complain about such superficial things, but this is my body that's constantly warping and changing every time I go through the time window, and... Oh, the flapjacks! Rose turned suddenly on her heel to the sound. Unfortunately, I was a bit too close to her, causing her to trip into me. We both fell to the floor, tumbling all the way down, with me landing on top of Rose, and my face directly between her boobs. I kept it there for a moment, my brain not registering what was going on, then registering what was going on, and not registering who it was for some reason, then finally... Oh man. Oh gosh, Rose! I backed my head up so quickly that I whipped my head into the metal oven behind me, smacking it so hard that it let out a metal wham! That's what you get for not being careful, Kenshi. Kenshi! Oh goodness, are you okay? Despite the recent events, Rose was still by my side, looking at the back of my head as I rubbed it with my hand tenderly. Yeah, that wasn't the best place to put my face. It's fine, Kenshi. I mean, you could have done much worse while you were in there. We both looked at each other, me on top of Rose, before we slowly started to laugh. Half out of nerves and half out of the awkwardness of the situation. Just as the laughing fit reached its end, I looked up at the doorway and saw someone. Having fun, you two? Grandpa! This isn't I get that you're both young, but please, try to at least be quiet about it. It's not like that. Whatever you say, dear. Now then, are those flapjacks burning, or is my nose just not working right today? Oh gosh. Rose went into a fit of motions, rushing over to the oven. Just as she opened it, a plume of smoke blasted into her face, causing her to cough. Are you okay, Rose? Just fine, Kenshi. You sure, dear? She nodded, waving away the smoke from her face. Alright, well, I need Kenshi to be over in the lab for a bit. Michelle wanted to have a word with him real quick before the next time window trip. She nodded again and gave a thumbs up, still getting a few coughs out. I was a bit reluctant, but I agreed, promising to spend more time with her after I was through with my business with Michelle. You wanted to see me, Michelle? Yes, Kenji, I wanted to ask you if you were feeling alright. After all, going through a time window isn't exactly a necessarily safe thing to do when untested. I feel fine, actually. You haven't tested on male subjects before? Most subjects we tested in time window's early stages, regardless of gender, tended not to survive for long after their trip. Oh. Okay, that's kind of a big thing to leave out. Like, before you said you've never tested it on a male before, now you're saying regardless of their gender, none of them tend to survive? That's kind of... Oh my god. No, I don't understand it. I don't understand how that makes any sense. Worry not, Kenji. They showed many signs of health decline immediately upon their return. I'm not one to trust with these matters anyhow. Kyo's the medical expert at the facility. I just work with the technology. About that, how long did it actually take you to create the time window device? And how does it actually work? Explaining the time window isn't a necessarily simple thing to do. In fact, it's near impossible to do in layman's terms, so let me think for a moment. She sat back in her chair, her legs crossed, tapping her foot against the ground in thought. I merely stood there, watching her, letting her think. It was only a while later that I realized that I was staring at her legs as they tapped. Typical pervert male mind, I swear to God. Well, then again, if I could actually see why her legs looked like, I'd probably be staring at them too. Well, I do, but I mean in that particular form. And she seemed to take notice midway through her thoughts. Like what you see, Kenji? What? Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle. Oh, don't play coy with me, Kenshi. I don't think I haven't noticed you getting all cozy with the other girls while I'm toiling away here in the lab. You're a bit green for me, but I wouldn't say you're completely out of your league. Michelle, what are you saying? You are one of the most dense guys I have ever had the pleasure of speaking to. You're in a lab with 3 hot girls who have been basically throwing themselves at you, and you still haven't gotten any action. Just how Oh, well, excuse me! You keep saying not to do anything because it's basically like taking advantage of a drunk girl after they go through the time window. And then you're all watching everyone else while they're going about their business, seeing if they don't do anything, and then you pull this bullshit? What is up? What the fuck? Hey, look, Michelle, just cause I'm a guy doesn't mean... Yeah, saving that man doesn't just think about his crotch lecture. You switched out any other guy in your position, regardless of how nerdy they were, they would have seen some sort of action by now. Wonder if that's the same for me. Yeah, too bad the situation is too unrealistic to actually exist. So... She stood, walking slowly and seductively towards me, adjusting her top and fidgeting with her belt. I am throwing an opportunity in your lap right now, Kenshi, and it's up to you to take it. So, Michelle, I'm a guy. It's obvious that in any other circumstance I wouldn't hesitate for a second, but we're in a lab, my grandfather's lab, with 2 other girls around. My parents died 3 days ago. I'm not exactly in the best place mentally. Also, I barely have any idea who you are, from the fact that your dress is incredibly risque for your type of work. Judgment a little sap, aren't we? Look, it's just that... Before I could finish my sentence, Michelle swiftly pulled out a cane from behind and tripped my legs, causing me to fall to the ground. Oh. Seriously, what is with these girls? Once there, she sat on top of me, straddling me by my abdomen. Michelle, what are you... I've been working so hard down here, Kenshi. I think I deserve some fun and downtime just like the other 2 girls, so try me. Her face lowered, getting close to mine. Her chest pushed against mine, her cleavage pouring into my vision. I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going. It's not like that at all! I shuffled from side to side in protest. Michelle just looked over at me, stunned for a second. Then she burst out laughing after she collected herself, she addressed me. You're so heroic, you know that, Mr. Gentleman? What? You think that'll get me to like you more now? Michelle, you don't get it. Not all guys are sex-hungry maniacs, okay? I'm not trying to be some holier-than-thou type A personality. This is just who I am. I'm treating you like people. Why is that a bad thing? Oh, he's finally standing up. For a while, she was silent. Then she smirked, letting out a soft chuckle. It isn't, Kenshi. In fact, that's what I wanted to hear. Such a big man for such a young one at that. Sorry I doubted you. So what? You're just testing me or something? I guess you could say that. A lot of guys like to put on this guise of honor and respect, but don't mean a word of it. I'm happy to see that you actually do, even in the midst of a woman literally throwing herself at you. I'm sure most guys would roll their eyes and hate you for acting in such a way, but as a woman, I respect that. Respect. That's what truly matters. In my opinion, at least. Respect is one of the best things you can be given. Take that for granted. You're gonna get yourself either slapped in the face or kicked in the nuts. She stood, brushing herself off. Now then, the girls I can't work it today. Now then, the girls are going to go back for a trip today. Since you seem to be okay, would you like to join them? Oh, do you think that's safe? I mean, it could have just been a flick or something. Oh, come now, Kenshi. Don't try to butter me up with this manly man nonsense just to wuss out on me now. Do you want in or not? I'm sure both of the girls would love for you to join them. Sure, I guess. If you're looking out for us, I mean. Of course, Kenshi, I always am. I wonder. She smiled one of the warmest smiles I had seen from her, reassuring me of my decision. She dismissed me, telling me to get ready, and I returned to my room to rest for a bit. Before I could relax for too long, however, I heard a knock at my door. I stood and walked over, seeing Rose at the entrance. Hey. Oh, Rose, hey. Are you doing okay? I'm fine. Just wanted to apologize for freaking out earlier. What? No. You had a perfectly valid reason to be worrying, Rose. I mean, the effects of the time window really don't seem to be a joke. You aren't nervous either? Michelle told me that you were coming on the next trip with us. You're not fearful of what may happen? Well, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a bit nervous, but she had a point. Nothing happened when I went through the first time, and both you and Kyo seemed to have consistent results. So I guess it just doesn't affect male subjects in the same way. Or at least guys my age, maybe. You're starting to sound like Michelle, overanalyzing everything. Oh, yeah, I was just talking with her there about some things for a bit. Really? Like what? Oh, you know, science stuff. Like, bodily effects from the time window, that kind of stuff. Alright, that's a smart thing to talk about, I suppose. I don't think she believes us. We stood there for a moment in silence before I finally spoke up. Did you want to come inside and talk for a bit before the trip? Oh, yes, of course. I'd be delighted. I went over to my bed and sat on the side, and to my surprise, she sat next to me, rather than at the chair. She seemed to take notice of that thought through my nervous shuffle in place. Oh, I'm sorry, am I sitting too close? What? No, you're fine. I don't mind at all. Oh, good. The awkwardness is so good. It's so tense, you could taste it. It's like a soap opera. She beamed yet another smile at me. I never noticed how dazzling her smile was until I saw it a bit more up close. I cleared my throat. So, anything on your mind lately? Well, there was something I wanted to bring up from our last conversation. I just wasn't sure how comfortable you would be with the subject. But since you seem to be a bit relaxed even after the episode in the kitchen, I suppose it's fine to talk about. Yeah, go for it. Shoot. Well, what are your thoughts on breasts of a larger size? Well, Oh, that kind of question. Okay, this is like another one of those dangerous type of situations. Like, you could say that you like some women are self-conscious about their breast size. Example, Rose. She doesn't like her breasts being so big because they seem to be causing her back troubles and shoulder pains, while Kyo, on the other hand, adores them and maybe takes it a bit too far at times. And if you answer a certain way, you can once again come off as a bit of a pervert. Like only guys are interested in big breasts. Small-breasted girls aren't focused enough because they're not as attractive, apparently. Like, I don't believe that. I do not believe that. Well, that's just my opinion. There's obviously other guys have different opinions on breast size and what's really important. But in my opinion, it doesn't really matter how big your boobs are. And if you doubt me, well, that's your loss. We both looked at each other, then away, Rose fiddling with her fingers in her lap as I thought carefully about my answer. If I'm being truthful, larger ones are nice, and if they fit a girl, they look good too. You think so? Of course. Are you ashamed of your body or something? Well, at times I wonder if they have gotten a tad too big over the years. It's embarrassing to think of myself as a scientist with these. Big melons? Huh? Shoot out, I'm joking. They look good on you, I promise. Boobs aren't everything, Rose, so don't stress about it. Yes, I suppose, as cliched and cheesy as it may be, I suppose so. It's a cliche for a reason, Rose, because it's true. Breasts aren't everything. I leaned back in I learned back in high school that just because something's cliche, that doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing. Things become cliche for a reason. They get repeated so many times because they make sense. Sometimes they're even obvious. So when I say, Rose, I think your breasts, while they may be large, look nice, I mean it. I think you would be also be beautiful if you were as flat as a board. Honestly, I do. Just like how Kyo would have been, because she used to be flat-chested, but now because of that accident with the time window, she's like, boing. And now she adores her breasts. While I said all of this, I had been looking down at my hands, just rambling. When I finally finished what I had to say, I looked up at Rose. She was staring at me intently, a deep blush on her face. Her body was close. I could feel the heat radiating off of her. When I realized what I had said, I blinked and looked away again. You really feel that way, Kenshi? I don't see how anyone couldn't, Rose. I don't see how you couldn't see yourself as beautiful. Rose, you okay? Let's just say that intelligence doesn't always equate to beauty. Well, that's just nonsense then. I think brains are incredibly attractive in a girl. I mean, seriously, I think it's important for most people to have some sort of intelligence. Well, you're just stating the obvious at this point, Kenji. I honestly lost track of what I was saying. I would have too, Kenji. You're not alone. You were telling me how beautiful I was? I didn't take you as a vain person, Rose. Shut up. She shoved me, which I wasn't expecting. I fell over laughing, Rose giggling next to me. I suddenly got up on the bed, sitting next to her. We both just sat there and laughed, enjoying each other's company. Then we became silent, just looking at each other. Rose turned on the bed, facing me, her face that solemn interest. I'd say even desire. She got closer to me, and I went in. I went with it. Our faces slowly getting closer until... Alright, Kenshi, Rose. I need you both on the... Ah! I stumbled back at my grandfather's intrusion, collapsing off the bed and onto the floor. Tensai, there is such a thing as knocking, you know? My apologies, but we do have some matters to attend to that are quite important. Feel free to pick this up when you get back. Tensai, please! With that, Rose charged out of the room, past Tensai and into her own room, likely getting ready for the next trip. I slowly looked up at him, a forlorn look on his face. Sorry about that. It's fine. Didn't really know where I was going with that anyways. I think I believe you, Kenshi, and I don't think you do either. But anyway, feel free to come out to the lab anytime you're ready. With that, he exited, leaving me to lay there in embarrassment, but also with a real sense of glee swelling inside of me. It was the first time that week when something occurred that actually seemed to take my mind off of all the things that had happened to me lately. And it felt good. Aww, Kenshi finally feeling happy for once. And not feeling guilty about it either. Well, it looks like the next time window trip is about to happen. So I'm gonna leave this off here. So next time on Time Tenshi, we're gonna head into the time window with the girls. See what up. Maybe we find out something about the Project Paradox. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just more fan service. So until next time, guys, have a lovely day.